Welcome to another episode of Royal Rumble. Please stand by for the upcoming fight. This time, the Lizardmen will face up against the Dark Elves.
So welcome to another episode of Royal Rumble, and thank you for tuning in. In this episode I'm playing with the Lizardmen, and I'm facing up against the Dark Elves. So I think the matchup is quite good for the Lizardmen against the Dark Elves, but I'm not sure. So I created a really good build in my opinion, but I tested it just several times. But I think it works quite well. And yeah, let's go directly to my army composition over here. So I have a very cheap front line of Skink Cohort. These guys will causing no damage against the infantry of the, or against the most infantry, or against the infantry of the Dark Elves, because they're very weak. But they are meat shield, very expandable, and yeah, as you can see, I love the combination of a cheap front line. In some cases of a cheap front line with monsters directly behind that. So we have a meat shield in the front, and directly behind that we have 3 feral Bastillodons, very cheap, as I said, just 700. You can bring a lot of them, so you can bring 3. I think they are restricted, so you can only bring 3, but they are really good in combination with the front line, and they're causing armor piercing. They have armor piercing, causing armor piercing damage. The melee stats overall are not so good, so they are very low in fact. So we have just 22 melee attack and 24 melee defense, but we have weapon strength of 250, and the armor piercing amount of that is 160, but it's quite good. And they're very tanky, because they have nearly 6,000 hit points, and they have an armor of 140. That is huge. So these guys will perform very good in this meat shield over here. In addition, very good over here. Then also we have very tanky. I like this Croxigorus, one of my favorite unit, not because of the performance, so just because they are looking so beautiful. They're looking so cool. I like them. And they're causing armor piercing amount, very much of that. So they have 84 weapon strength and 62 armor piercing amount of that. And also here, in addition to this cheap front line, the performance should be really good. They kick in really hard against heavily armored Dark Elves. And they have armor itself is 100, but it's quite huge. But I think the Dark Elves can handle that. But as I said, they are really important for the missile, for the armor piercing amount, armor piercing damage, and as I said, huge weapon strength. And as you also can see, also 6,000 hit points. Very good over here, everything. So we have another 2 units of Croxigorus and 3 Bastillodon. Then we have Saurus Warriors with shields in the last line. As I said in my former videos, these guys perform so good because they're causing a quite amount of armor piercing, 18. It's not shown up over here, but the armor piercing amount is very good. The melee defense stats are really good, so they're shielded, they can protect themselves. The melee defense is quite high. The leadership is high, and the armor is also really okay at 60 for a mid-range unit like these guys. Really good over here. So especially against the Dark Elves, they are commonly armored or heavily armored. So the armor is quite high on the Dark Elves. So you have to bring armor piercing. But if you have to bring, would like to bring a huge army amount, these guys are really perfect for that, because these are very cheap and causing also a little bit of armor piercing. And on the left flank, I have 1 group of Sour Spears, and just to prevent my army from flankings from enemy cavalry of cold ones and stuff like that. In the last line, I have Temple Guards, elite infantry unit. Nothing to introduce over here, so they have huge leadership, huge weapon strength. They have, in fact, charge defense against large foes. And I think anti-large bonus, maybe. Yeah, they have a bonus with large of 16. Maybe a lot of players don't notice that, so they are performing very well, especially against large units. But they're also performing well against infantry units, of course, because the armor piercing amount is 29, but it's really huge. Very elite infantry unit, very expensive. I always bring them in the last row. then I can decide really fast on which spot I have to support my army. And my commander is, as always, Kokgar on a cold one. I like it to bring him on the cold one because he has an anti-large bonus. Armor piercing. The cold one is really fast, so we have nearly 80 speed, and it's quite cheap also. He's quite cheap on the cold one. I like that. So let's go through my opponent. Over here we have Dread Spears in the front. So it's very filled up with Dread Spears overall. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of Dread Spears. Of course, against all these dinosaurs, it was very good of my opponent. My opponent was a very good player, and the build was also very competitive in my opinion. And the Dread Spears perform very well, of course, against all these dinosaurs. They can prevent the charge in and can hold the line. And directly behind that, the Haganif Executioners. So we have a low-tier infantry front line with spears, and spears can hold the line. And then the elite infantry, the Haganif Executioners, kick in with a lot of armor-piercing damage, and they're very heavily armored, very elite infantry unit over here. 4 units, very good. Then we have these Reaper Bolt Thrower, also very good against large units, of course, and you can change it to that they are causing a lot of damage to small units. But I think especially against big units in this matchup is quite good. Then we have a Malekith on foot without any mount. Yeah, also quite good because none of my units will get an anti-large bonus over here. That is also good and I think also cheap. And then we have a unit of Dark Riders with shields in the last line. No dinosaurs, no. These are just Dark Riders. I'm not sure what is the performance. I think they are very cheap and they are shielded. They're very fast, yeah. But the charge bonus is 40. Low tier cavalry unit, but I think also very cheap. And then that's it. No, we have another unit of Dark Riders with shield on this side. So the plan was, of course, maybe to charge in, or they are hidden over here, and to charge in my backline then. So let's go. What I have done over here. So let's go over here like this. So let us start. So I noticed he's on the higher ground, and I noticed he came the hill down, and I stayed on the lower ground over here because on this side it's a little bit even. So it's not that big, that big disadvantage for me to fight him on the lower ground over here or fight him upward. So it's better for me to fight him on this position over here, that I don't have to fight him upward. So we have not such a big front line, very small front line. Or yeah, it's quite, of course, it's quite long. And now my Temple Guards also charge in. You can see this broke up here. The Skin cohort are routing. It was too much for them. So now I'm joining with the Temple Guard to close this spot over here. You can see my Krogar fighting the Malekith, and the performance of my Krogar against the Malekith is quite good. So I already took a lot of damage from my Krogar over here. So everything broke over here on this side. This was quite good for me. Also his Dark Riders with shields get terrorized. I think I'm not sure from what they get terrorized, but they took a lot of damage. I noticed that he charged in my backline and sent it directly my Sarah Spears after him. The Bastiladons are very difficult to kill, and especially just for infantry, so we have nothing to focus them out. The thrower over there on the top is in a very bad angle. I think you cannot hit him. and the performance overall is quite good of the Bastillodons. Murderous Prowess kick in, and you can see my Croc Guards fighting his infantry over here, very good. So they break up huge spots. And it was also a disadvantage for me to fight him here. Upside, he's on the lower ground, he's on the higher ground, and that was not really good for me. So a cast comes down from from Malekith. I'm not sure the name of this. Let me take a look. I will know that also. We have here. I'm not sure what it is. I think it's Soul Stealer or Gaze of Malice. I'm not sure. And I also have no experience with that, but I think they're causing a lot of damage to my units. So the Croxigore is crowding, and yeah, really good over here for my opponent. It was not that easy to break through this line over here. You can see my Temple Guards are really, they have a lot of work to do, and you can see this are Haganeth Executioners. And in my opinion, the Haganeth Executioners should rule this fight over here. They should. I think they are stronger than the Temple Guard. You can see I managed it to kill Malekith. Malekith is down over here. He was not able to prevent this with his Haganeth Executioners, and now they have no Lord, and that will give a leadership. They will drop their leadership, and you can see he's shooting on my rounding units very good. And I was not able to send this thrower offline because I was not able to get through this this whole blob over here and managed to get on the higher ground and to kill this Reaper Bolt Thrower. It was very difficult for me to do that. You can see he constantly shoot on my routing units, and yeah, really good of my opponent. It was a wild fight, a really good fight, a really good battle. So his riders came back and charged in, but I also noticed that and sent in my Temple Guards, and the Temple Guards massacre them because they are very low tier cavalry unit. Overall, the Haganeth Execution is causing a lot of trouble to my infantry. It is really difficult for me to kill them. You need a combination of Croxigores or Bastillodons with Temple Guard. Otherwise, it's very difficult to handle it with the Haganeth Executioners. See over here the Feral Bastillodon causing a lot of trouble on the lower ground and on the higher ground, and yeah. But it's over here. I like to play with the Lizardmen, but in the late game, I think all of you guys also know that from your games, you have no unit under your control anymore. So all of these units are raging, and you don't have the control of them anymore. So it's quite difficult to play it. But it is a lot of fun. And I like these guys. You can see the Croxigores causing a lot of making a lot of kills and causing a lot of damage. And Also the Temple Guard, very good over here, of course. But even the Skin Cohort performed quite well against the Dread Spears. I think against the Dread Spears the performance can be quite good, or is quite good, maybe, relatively spoken. So there, yeah. So this is also low tier infantry, and I think it can be good, the performance of the Skin Cohort over here. Then the Saurus Warriors, as I said, causing a lot of, making a lot of kills over here. 80, 50 and 70, very good over here. And also the Bastiladons. So I think this build overall is quite good, I like it. Of course there is not so much tools to kill the enemy, because I have nothing like cavalry or missile infantry and stuff like that. But I think the build is quite strong, the infantry build, and I like it. And you can see the Haganef Executioners. That is the most problem, or the most difficult thing to handle it with the Lizardman, is to kill these guys over here. But they're so heavily armored and causing such a huge amount of damage. And so thank you. Let me know what you think, and yeah, see you on the next episode of Royal Rumble. Thank you.